Hi folks, this is an important time and it's an exciting time. It can be really overwhelming, so I don't want you to panic, but I guess my main theme for this slide is simply to begin with the end in mind. And the important thing at this stage in the game is simply to start the conversation. And I am going to give you some homework as we move forward. And if you hear nothing else in the next little bit with my ramblings, I just want you to know that we're here for you. We're here at any point in time. Please don't ever feel like it's a stupid question. You're not bothering us. None of those things, okay? This is why we are here. And, I say begin with the end in mind, knowing that they're 14 and 15 years old, and they're going to change their minds a number of times between now and graduation. So right now, our main goal is simply to ensure that we're trying not to close any doors. Also, having said that, the earlier we can start preparing for the transition from high school to post-secondary, high school to work, the more creative we can be and the more we can be reducing barriers to post-secondary and ensuring that they're in a program that's a really good fit for them. Because, often in a lot of cases, there's multiple places to take different things and some are better for different learners. So the earlier we know, the better off that our kiddos will be moving forward. So I am going to talk about a number of things. Number one, I'm just going to start with requirements for university, so admission requirements. I'll talk about a few specific programs. Then I'd also like to speak to you about NSCC, specifically their 2+2 program, and where you're able to combine both college and university through what they call articulation agreements. So again, that's going to be part of your homework a little later on. And finally, I'd also like to talk to you a little bit about apprenticeship in Nova Scotia. Okay, so if I start with university, so I poked around a couple of sites this morning, and for instance, I took a look at the Bachelor of Science program, St. FX. So as of today, if I wanted to apply for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program at St. FX, I need to have my grade 12 academic level math, I need to have a chemistry 12 and a biology 12. I also need to have a minimum average of 75%. So how that impacts me if I'm in grade 9 moving into grade 10 is if that's where I'm aspiring to be or the program I'd like to be part of, I need to be in academic grade 10 math so that I can do my grade 11 academic math and then eventually my grade 12 academic math to be sure that I have those university requirements. If I am looking to do engineering, for instance. So I was on Dalhousie's engineering, just the admission requirements this morning. As of today, you need pre-calculus 12 math, you need chemistry 12 and physics 12. So how that impacts course selection is that, those students that are thinking engineering need to be sitting in academic grade 10 math next year. So that as they move through grade 11 and 12, they move into the pre-calculus streams of mathematics. They may choose to finish in Calculus 12, they may not, hard to say. And I'll chat a little bit more about the specific math streams through high school in a bit. Computer sciences also requires pre-calculus 12 mathematics. Now, if I'm looking at something like a Bachelor of Arts program or social sciences, currently they require that you have English 12, academic English 12, and that you have 5 other academic level courses in grade 12. Or at the grade 12 level, not necessarily in grade 12. And again, Bachelor of Science programs all require I shouldn't say all, the ones I've been looking at all require pre-calculus math 12 as well. So that's Dalhousie Agriculture, their Bachelor of Science programs require pre-calculus math 12. St. FX, same thing. So things to bear in mind. I'd encourage you, go online, check out the websites now, check out the admission requirements, look at your programs. Not even a bad time to start looking at tuition fees so that we can, make an informed decision, a family decision, because the price tag's steep on a number of these. So, we need to prepare. All right, I'm gonna try to transition over to community college because I want to talk about something called the 2+2 program. So it's through NSCC, but what they call articulation agreements. So a little thing you can Google later on is articulation agreements, NSCC. And For instance, okay, I'll give you an example. So if I have a student that's interested in accounting, maybe they want to start their first 2 years at NSCC, they do the business administration program and they do the accounting concentration. They leave there at 2 years with a diploma in what they're interested in. They also leave there having done a work placement, which is phenomenal because they know that they're interested in that field enough to continue to pursue it at the degree level. So if I start at NSCC, there's an articulation agreement, actually a number of articulation agreements from that program specifically. I can then go on to Acadia University and do a Bachelor of Business Administration, or I can go on to Mount St. Vincent University and do a Bachelor of Business Administration. So I've saved myself the first couple of years of university level tuition costs. I maybe am still able to save housing costs. Maybe I can stay at home for those 2 years. I have work experience in the field, so I'm leaving with references in that field. And I have a diploma after 2 years that I can work with. So let's say I do my 2 years, I do the diploma, and I run out of funds or life circumstances have changed, what have you. I can go to work for a little bit, and then I can go back and finish off at one of the number of universities that they've created agreements with. So maybe I finish my Bachelor of Business Administration a few years down the road at Acadia, when it fits more into where I am in my life at that point in time. Same thing, social services program at NSCC. You can do the 2 years, you do a work placement, and see if that's something that you like, see if what area of social services that you're more interested in, and maybe the following year or maybe 5 years down the road, doesn't matter. You might say, okay, you know what, this other position that I would really like to do now requires a degree. So you know what, I'm going to take my 2 years at NSCC and I'm going to use that articulation agreement, and I'm going to go do my Bachelor of Arts or my Bachelor of Science with Mount St. Vincent University, knowing that I'm able to use some of those credits or all of those credits towards my degree. So a really, really neat opportunity. I don't know that a lot of people know about that, so I wanted to be sure that you did, because those are other opportunities. And like I say, when we know early, we can start reducing some of those barriers right away. Because it's like, okay, well, all right, maybe you can't afford to do the degree all at once, but heck, you know what? Why don't you start? Do the first 2 years at NSCC, and then we look to finishing the degree program. You save yourself thousands, if not $10,000 by doing it this. Okay, so in addition to the 2+2 programming offered through NSCC, NSCC has over 130 programs. So it's definitely worth taking a look at their website right now, and or if you want to pick up one of the brochures and student services, feel free. It's quite a range of programming, and I wrote a few down, and I like I said, I haven't done this justice at all, but just to kind of give you an idea. We have things like heavy duty equipment repair, truck and transport repair, machining, marine engineering technology, early childhood education, engineering technology, automotive repair, IT, surveying, mapping, culinary, marine, fisheries, oceans, social services, business administration. The list goes on and on and on. So there's all kinds of opportunities. Most of these programs require that you have graduated high school. That is the admission requirements for most of these programs. Having said that, some of the programs, particularly the electrical programs, do require academic grade 12 math. So it's worth taking a look at now just to see what the specific admission requirements are for the program that you may have an interest in. All right, and I didn't want you to go away without us chatting about apprenticeship. So one thing, I don't even know if you can see it, maybe if I back up a little bit, Nova Scotia apprenticeship.ca, nsapprenticeship.ca. So this is really important if you're thinking like welding, machining, refrigeration, electrical, heavy equipment, any of these things, because you can register as a youth apprentice if you're between 16 and 19 years of age. So you can get started on this right away. It's really exciting. So if you're working full-time or part-time right now, and you're working with someone that has their Red Seal certification, then you could be potentially earning hours towards that same trade, which is amazing, right? There's no fee. You are basically earning while you're learning. It's really exciting. It's a great opportunity. So, like I say, this presentation would not be complete if I didn't put a plug in for Nova Scotia Apprenticeship as well. Okay. If you're interested in learning more about work placements during your high school experience, I'll direct you to our O2, our Options and Opportunities program. Phenomenal program. You take all the same courses in order to graduate. In addition, there's like a community-based learning in grade 10, followed by some co-op experiences in grade 11 and 12. And it is a really great opportunity to get out there and explore, no cost, what those fields of work look like. If you're not interested in being part of like a specific program throughout high school, then I strongly encourage you to at least take a cooperative education 12 credit. You can do it in grade 12, you can do it in grade 11. You just have to be over 16 in order to be able to go out on placement. And essentially there you do 25 hours in the classroom, you do your first aid, your WHMIS, and then you go for 80 hours on the job. You can't beat that. And maybe this is something you thought, I want to do this after high school as a career, but you go out on the job and co-op and you realize, no, this really isn't for me. That's okay, right? Didn't cost you a cent. Or maybe you go out and you realize, this is exactly what I want to do. So how do I get there, right? And sometimes you go out, for instance, we've had folks go out to heavy equipment mechanic shop and they were so excited because it was hands-on. They thought it was going to be just amazing. And they came back and they're like, you know what? I had no idea how much writing and forms and documents that I was going to fill out. And they were really kind of turned off by the whole thing. But that was good to know, right? Ahead of time, or good to know that, I'm going to have to work on all those skills before I take a look at that occupation. So again, that's Co-op 12. If you're looking for the single course, you can do a number of those courses. Or if you're looking for more of a program, then we have the Options and Opportunities program, and I'll leave that to Mrs. Jody Ehrenberg to describe that program to you a little later on, because she's our coordinator and she does a phenomenal job, and she'll do it justice. All right, take care. All right, forget about the homework portion. All right, so I want you to look at articulation agreements with NSCC, Googling Apprenticeship Nova Scotia. And in the course selection handbook this year, in the first couple of pages, I put links to all of the sort of like Atlantic Canadian universities. So yeah, just start poking around and see what you think. When you have some questions, be sure to bring them to us. All right, take care.